Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into the sources looking at that Netflix miniseries, No One Saw Us Leave.
Right, the 2025 one.
Yeah, it's a five-parter, a true crime drama
Yeah.
based on Tamara Trotner's book about her and her brother Isaac being kidnapped.
By their own father, Leo Saltzman, back in the 60s.
Exactly.
And what the sources really emphasize, right off the bat, is that this wasn't just some messy divorce thing. No,
Right.
it blew up, became this 2-year international, well, they call it a war between two powerful families,
Wow.
all playing out within the Mexican Jewish community, which back then especially had these really strict patriarchal codes, very focused on appearances.
Gotcha. So what kicked it all off? The sources say Leo kidnapped the kids. Camera had just turned 5, basically as revenge.
Pretty much, yeah. Revenge against his wife, Valeria Goldberg, because she'd had an affair.
And not just any affair.
No, with Leo's own brother-in-law, Carlos. So you can imagine the fallout.
Definitely adds another layer. So
Yeah.
Leo takes the kids.
Yeah.
Where did they go? It wasn't simple.
Oh, not at all. He had help, apparently, from his sister Gabriella. And they went on this incredibly convoluted route to dodge Interpol.
Like where?
France, specifically Paris, then Italy, even South Africa, before they eventually landed in an Israeli kibbutz.
That's quite a journey. And Valeria?
She was right behind them, essentially. Her family had resources. She hired Elias, this former Mossad agent turned PI, and chased them across the globe with Carlos.
So it really was an international chase.
Absolutely. High stakes.
Right.
Now, shifting focus a bit, the series itself, the adaptation, the analysis points out it really leans into a modern idea.
Please.
Vicarious violence, that's the term they use.
Okay, explain that.
It's basically the act of using kids to hurt their mother, to control her, inflict suffering through the children. The showrunners made this the core theme.
And that's something only recently being addressed legally in Mexico.
Exactly. The sources mention it's only now being legislated, which adds this whole other contemporary relevance to a story from the 60s.
Okay, so that sounds like a really powerful, clear theme. But didn't the show get kind of middling reviews? Like a 6.1 on IMDb.
It did, yeah. And that seems to stem from how they handled Leo's character.
How so?
Well, while framing it with vicarious violence, they also tried not to make Leo a total black and white villain. They explored his perspective, the loneliness and despair around his fatherhood.
Did the author, Tamara, agree with that complexity?
To some extent. She's quoted saying she later heard his truth, which was as valuable and true as my mother's. So there's nuance there.
But critics didn't buy it.
Some didn't know. They felt trying to balance those things made the whole thing feel, well, one critic said utterly meaningless. Another felt it lacked a firm philosophical anchor, basically questioning if this particular telling needed to be adapted.
Interesting tension there. So let's get to the resolution. After all that globe-trotting, how did the actual kidnapping end?
Well, there was a brief trial in Jerusalem, but they essentially punted the case back to Mexico.
So no big courtroom showdown there.
Not really. Ultimately, the sources say Leo just gave up, handed the children over to Valeria and the police at his sister Gabriella's house.
And the kids, Isaac and Tamara.
They didn't see their father again for 20 years after that, a really painful outcome.
Wow, 20 years. And what happened with Valeria and Carlos, the ones who chased them?
They stayed together, actually, right up until Carlos passed away in 1997.
And Tamara, the author.
She processed it all, eventually, became a writer, published the memoir Nadie nos vio partir in 2020. She even said she is who she is thanks to the story, despite the trauma.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows this clash, doesn't it? Between a very personal family trauma and turning it into this global streaming thriller.
Yeah.
The sources show it exposed serious issues, those rigid community codes, the real impact of vicarious violence. But that attempt at moral complexity in the series seemed to muddy the waters for critics.
Right. The universal meaning got debated. Which leads to a final thought, perhaps. Tamara Trotner clearly found writing the book cathartic, formative even. It helped her.
But the critics questioned its value for a wider audience.
Exactly. So it makes you wonder. When you take such a personal story of pain and turn it into a big Netflix show, what's the real measure of its success? Is it the healing it brings the survivor?
Or is it about the message, the meaning that the rest of us, the audience, can take away from it?
Yeah, something to think about.